Hello. Today we'll be discussing the article that was assigned to me, and it was Maker Centered Learning and the Language and Culture Classroom. And what it reminded me of is very much what we've discussed previously with the CLT and the multi-language education. And I think that's very much what they were trying to get at. So the researchers wanted to have two different classrooms and try to produce a similar experiment to see if they got similar results. And so they took a Spanish classroom and a French classroom. So different courses, but they still ended up seeing similar results. So, and what they discussed with this maker center strategy is that they wanted them to create their own stuff, like elaborate more, go further into it and deeper than before. And they talked about how this is typically excluded from the arts, and people don't talk about the strategy that much when it comes to humanities, and it's usually just focused on STEM research. And they basically say that isn't right because this also works very well with languages and humanities. And so what they did with the Spanish class is that what they were originally studying was how artists and authors and popular influencers have and pop culture have rebelled and rebelled against oppressive governments and authoritarian regimes. So, and then so instead of just taking a course where you would just be studying like stories where they protested or art that was used as a protest just to demonstrate their feelings, they would take it a step further and they would use a digital tool. It was a digital museum where they could keep artifacts they stored, and it also allowed these students to collaborate together. And with the French class, what they had was they were studying 16th and 17th century French literature. And so it was quite dated. It was from several years ago, several centuries ago. And but it was a way to learn like French literature, French culture, um French history, one of those ways. And so what they did was they decided that they would have a gallery where it was like a truth or false about the French contemporary society, modern early French. Um, and they basically created their own little gallery of things that represented the truth of the French society and the literature that they were reading. And what the French they surveyed the French students, and they wanted to see how they felt and about it, and they said that they felt like it kind of created a classroom community that they've never cooperated with this on a whole class scale before, and they thought that it was very fulfilling. And the Spanish students also said something similar. They said that it improved not only their Spanish, but it improved their confidence within the language as well. And I think this is very an interesting experiment because it opens it up for later on, like implementation later on in the future, and to continue working with this with teachers and students. Everyone in the community in the language learning community can use this, and I think that it's a really good idea. So I think it's a good idea to go from instead of just experimenting to analyzing, creating, analyzing and applying your own knowledge as well.